Okay, guys, good morning. Hopefully everybody's feeling good today. It's Wednesday. I think today is the 18th, and I'm still expecting a bit more selling today. But by the end of the day, I'm thinking that we should start considering some dip buying, as that's been the pattern the last 3 months, as far as whenever SPY takes a dip during the days of the teens. Let's take a look at the last time, like right here. We go 13, 14. What day is this right here? One second. Oh, there we go. The 15th. I think this is the 16th and then the 19th, right? Only difference was there wasn't an 18th day here. All right. We just skipped on over to the 19th. But you can see around the 18th or the 19th is when price, kind of put in that bottom and decided to push. If we go back in the past right here, here's the 18th. It was the last day that we were kind of bearish, and then we pushed from there. We have another example, I believe, here, right where the end of the 19th, price kind of bottomed out, and then we pushed from there. All right, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Good morning. So that's kind of what I'm thinking today as well. If you guys got any questions during the chat, feel free to just go ahead and text me like you guys are doing this morning. Appreciate that. And then if there's anything that comes up, I'll definitely see it and cover it. So I'm still thinking a little bit of downside today. And by the end of the day, we'll come back to the market during power hour and we'll start to consider calls at that point. All right. So until then, I'm kind of just going to go over, our normal things that we're looking at this morning. I looked through the pre-market movers, and the only thing that stood out there was Tesla. So we'll keep our eye on Tesla this morning to see if it gives us some type of move or what have you. But for the most part, we'll continue to pick and choose and be patient until the end of the day. When I think at that point we could kind of step in and start really scooping up some calls for cheap. All right, let's go ahead and start off with Apple. As you guys know, on Thursday of last week, we got the initial signal that the uptrend may be beginning on Apple. We got that close above the upper Bollinger Band. So far, we've pretty much just seen continuation, with the exception of this little washout candle on Monday. With this big downside before this big upside happened. So outside of that, everything is pretty much status quo. We'll see if we'll continue to more or less just hover around this 150 area for Apple. And if so, I'd look for price to head up to 152. Then above 152, we're looking for price to get up towards 158. And then our second long-term target, which I believe we'd probably need October contracts for, would be 166. But if we have September 17s, then I'm pretty sure between now and then we could push up towards that 160 level or 158. So we're looking at 158 calls for now. I'm sorry, we're looking at 160 calls for September 17th for now. But besides that, nothing short-term on Apple just quite yet. Maybe at the end of the day, actually, we'll consider some calls for Apple for this week or for next week. But for right now, probably not. All right. Or at least not this morning. All right. Let's take a look at AMD. Now, let me zoom in on this one real quick. Actually, let me remove my lines. Give me one sec here. I didn't, hold on one sec here. Let me get all my lines off of here so we can see this thing. Just one sec. All right, so AMD, as you can see, it's really been hovering here around this like 105.74 level, right? 106. And yesterday's candle really didn't give us much to work with. It pretty much just told us, hey, there's a possibility that price could kind of, gain some support here or continue to hold this level and then push back higher towards the upper Bollinger Band. Or at the same time, price could lose this level at some point today and head back down towards 103 to 100. All right, so we really got to still be open-minded to which direction AMD can move. So we'll continue to just wait and see. My line in the sand for AMD continues to be 105.75. If we stay above that, then we'll probably continue to hold. If we get below that, now I'm starting to think about 103 contracts, puts, and then 100 puts for AMD. This week or next week, we'll see. All right, but either one should work. All right, let's take a look at Boeing. All right, let me zoom in just a little bit here. All right, so with Boeing, yesterday we actually closed below the lower Bollinger Band, signaling that a downtrend may be beginning. One thing to kind of note is that a lot of the airlines stocks were all kind of smacked yesterday. So if you take a look at United, Delta, Alaska Airlines, Southwest, all of those were, looking bad yesterday. They were all down like 2 or 3%. So, that may cause, Boeing to fall a bit more. Like I said yesterday, we may still try to fill this gap from this candle here back on July the 20th. But, we'll see what happens. If so, then price would fall all the way down towards 217. So keep that in mind for Boeing for maybe a potentially a quick day trade today. We take a look at, let's look at those contracts, see what those are looking like. We'd be taking a look at these 217.5 contracts here for $1.14. So what would be our trigger level? So if we can get below 220.78, again, that's 220.78 on Boeing. You could probably go ahead and step into 217 puts, 217.5 puts for this week. All right, those are last going for $1. So consider that. All right, going over BYND. Remember, I still have puts for BYND myself. I'm still bearish on this name. And even though we might be up, maybe a few pennies on the pre-market, I'm just going to fucking hold my puts until all right. But no, really, hopefully this kind of falls out of the sky by the end of the day and we get a nice bearish candle. I mean, when this guy decides to move, it can move 8 points within a day, as it has these past 3 candles right here. 1, 2, 3. Each of these candles moved 8 points. So maybe we can get an 8-point move down today, and that'll push us all the way down towards 110. And then my put contracts for 110 will be looking pretty good at that point. All right, so consider that. CVS is still looking good. I didn't call any plays on this one yet, but it's still looking very bullish. So, if you wanted to step in, I think I've recommended a couple of times that we should consider the 90 calls for September the 17th. So if you want to try those, feel free. But this CVS definitely is looking healthy and continues to work. All right, let's take a look at DraftKings. DraftKings was on the pre-market list. I didn't see any reason or any news about why it was kind of like, trending or up pre-market. So I'm not completely sure what's going to happen here today. If we lose the 51.18, then there's a possibility we fall down towards the lower band here around 49. So, we just got to kind of wait and see. But I don't have any particular trade or setup here for DraftKings. If anything, the market is still being capped by this 52.75/53 level. And as long as we stay underneath that, we'll probably either go sideways or we'll fall back down. All right, so just be mindful of that. All right, eBay. This is one where I called I think I called September 17, 80 calls right here on Monday. Obviously we had a breakout from Friday. continuation on Monday, and then yesterday we kind of gave a little bit of that back. So I'm going to be patient and give this probably until tomorrow to turn around. If this doesn't really turn around and recapture this 73.50 level, then I'll probably go ahead and cut that and just try to time it later or a different time. All right, but for right now, I'm still going to give it one more day because it's still looking pretty healthy. But, I don't want to give it too much time for it to really, do anything unexpected. So one more day, and then if eBay doesn't turn around or get back above 73.50, then I'm done. All right. Honeywell was looking really good. It's really been kind of confusing if you were trying to trade this to the long side. You had a nice breakout day here on August the 11th, and then we kind of pulled back a little bit, and then the market tried it again on August the 16th, and then we failed yesterday. So for now, this one is really hands off. The last time that I saw price action like this was with Uber, and really the trade just never worked. Price just kind of hovered around this key level here, and then Uber eventually rolled over. So, we may see the same thing with Honeywell. But again, Honeywell, I believe, is a defense manufacturer as well. So maybe something comes up relative to Afghanistan or, anything about civil unrest, and then eventually it'll pop. But we'll see. That's a big if. All right. With McDonald's, I talked about McDonald's yesterday. McDonald's is a really simple setup. All you need to do is just wait for price to close above the upper Bollinger Band. Then you can hop in. All right. Now, what we've shown you before is here's one example of price closing above the upper band, and then we moved higher. All right. Okay. I see you, White Whale World, Madi. DraftKings bought Golden Nugget. So maybe that's kind of why they're moving this morning. Now, remember, normally when a company buys another company, they're spending a lot of cash. So it's normally not great for the stock price immediately. So, maybe that's an additional reason for DraftKings to go down today. So if that's the case, maybe consider 50 puts for DraftKings. Since price is at 51, it should be able to fall at least $1, I would think. All right. But going back to McDonald's real quick, really the move here is just to simply wait until price closes above the upper band, because the last 3 times that we've done it, we had a reaction to the upside. So here's 1, closed above the upper band, boom, we pushed higher. Here's 2, closed above the upper band. It took a day, but then boom, we moved higher. Here on July 21st, we closed above the upper band, and then boom, nice move higher. All right, so the last 3 times we've closed above the upper band, we've pushed. So I would simply say in McDonald's case, just wait for price to close above the upper band, and then feel free to hop into calls. And when it does, I'll be hopping into calls myself. All right, so just keep that in mind. Here's NEO. Let's talk about NEO now. So by all accounts, NEO was most definitely bearish, right? We've had price stuck between 47 and let's call it 42, for about 2 months, I would say. And finally, on Monday, price broke below that's 30. Let's call it 39.50. Price broke below that 39.50 level. So, the expectation is that from contraction, right, sideways movement leads to expansion, which should be, a straight move to the downside. I still think that's what's happening. I can't see anything technically to make me think different. But at the same time, it's not falling the way that we want it to. We want it to actually just collapse. The Chinese names or Chinese stocks have been gapping down pretty consistently, but I'm starting to see some of them bounce this morning as I was looking around the market. So, maybe this is just more or less a relief move for the Chinese stock names. I did also see that the Chinese stock market was up this morning, whereas compared to the markets around the world and other places like, Europe and here, where we're down pre-market. So maybe it's nothing more than just a reaction to the Chinese stock market kind of, having a bid today or investors stepping in and starting to buy the dip there. So we'll see what happens. Now, I remember yesterday I said if price broke above 38.30 the smaller time frames, and I'd probably close these. So, just consider, this one's tough, just consider cutting these, or if you really kind of have the stomach for it, you kind of got to hold it throughout the rest of the day, like all day. All right, I would say it may take all day for this one to completely roll back over and start to break the lows of this candle. Now, if we can get below 36.83, then it's a wrap. Then this one's over with. You can probably, step on it some more at that point. But right now, like I said, this one is seeing a release bounce from I think the Chinese investors that are probably stepping in to buy the dip from some of these names. And then, I can't think of any other reason, to step in and buy this, because this chart just looks ugly. It looks like it should just instantly fall down towards 34. But, maybe it'll take a little bit of time. So anyway, a tough one here with NEO. But definitely just consider, managing your position just to make sure this doesn't pull a move where it gets back above 39.50 and then starts to push back higher. All right, we don't want to be trapped bears, so to speak, down here. All right. A quick look at NKLA. So, I use my unusual option scanner all the time. Let me pull it up real quick. So I got two scanners for unusual options. What's up, J. Roy? I got two scanners for unusual options. My boy J. Roy put me on this one right here. All right, and then I made this one myself, but I factored in the Bollinger Bands. Now, yesterday, when I took a look at that scanner, I saw a few names on there, and one that kind of stood out was NKLA. So the NKLA calls that stood out were these right here. It was the August 20 10s. All right, so the August 20 NKLA 10 calls, and it could have bottomed yesterday. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, I use this scanner to find when options contracts have bottomed. I'm kind of using my Bollinger Band play, the bottoming play that we use, where price needs to close above the lower band. So my scanner kind of captured this option yesterday, and most of the time, whenever it pulls up something like that, we generally have a reaction within like a day or two. So, I might actually take a flyer on this morning, and I may consider actually stepping into these August 20 10 calls for today and just kind of seeing what they do. Now, I don't know if NKLA has any news or anything like that, but, rarely kind of does my scanner let me down. So I may just take like a speculation play based upon that. But if you zoom into the chart a little bit, you can see that we just barely closed above the lower band here yesterday. And then also this 961 is really a key level. I just don't have it marked green. Let me change it to green real quick. All right, so this 961 level is a key level, and I would think that price has the potential to push all the way up towards 11 between now and maybe Friday. So, just keep this one in mind. If you want to kind of take a shot at it, 23 bucks for the potential, for this one to kind of go up towards 11 is what I'd be looking for. But again, just an unusual options play. All right, so just keep that in mind. All right, taking a look at NVIDIA here. NVIDIA, did we have earnings yesterday? Let me see. Yeah, we had earnings here yesterday with NVIDIA, so I don't know what this one is going to do. All right, we'll just have to wait and see. Let me give it a day to kind of sort itself out to give me some type of direction. But for now, the earnings are today after the market closes. So for sure, we're going to give this another day to sort itself out. All right, earnings today after the close. All right, let's take a look at Pfizer. Pfizer has just been the gift that's been keeping on. One thing I noticed yesterday, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was like, bro, did you notice that, Pfizer broke out of a, 25-year range? And I was like, no. All right, I hadn't gone back that far. Let me go back a bit further. Hold on, let me adjust this time frame real quick. Okay, so this is basically the all-time chart here with Pfizer, and it's the quarterly chart. So each one of these candles are 3 months. All right, but if you take a look, you can see that price had been capped since, I don't know, what is this, 2000? All right, price had been capped since 2000. All right, at this like 45. What was the close of this candle? Wait one sec here. What's the close of this candle? Like 43.84, or what's this level here? 45.50, right? So for years, 20 years, price has been capped at 45.50 here for Pfizer. All right, so I said, damn. Well, if that's the case, what's the potential, for our move here? So I did my thing. I, measured the size of this, basically this contraction or this sideways movement, and it gave us 17 points. All right, roughly like 17 and a half. So, using simple, math, I took 45, added 17 to it, and, came up with some targets for us, which I believe is 62 and 79. All right. So with that being said, it's all more or less a matter of how long is it going to take for us to get there to those levels. All right. One thing I will say is that as this stock gets bigger and bigger, meaning as it has grown from, I was looking through our chat yesterday, we actually called this breakout here at 36 right here. All right. I was looking through our chat. I was like, wow, we've been on this the whole time. But this is definitely a different stock now, the way that it moves since it was 36 to now where it's at here in the 50s. Okay. So it's going to move faster because it's bigger. All right. So, how much time would it take for us to actually go ahead and get to 60-ish? Well, yesterday, I just kind of went through the options chain. Let me pull this up right here. And I sent this out to the chat if you didn't see it. But basically, what I saw was that the market currently has 8 points priced in between now and January 21st of 2022. And I was like, that's probably more than enough time for us to actually push up towards 60. So what I'm thinking is that if we were to get 60 calls for January 21st of 2022 for a true swing trade, then I thought that there was a high probability that this trade will work right here. All right. So for $1.25, if you want to, pretty much get married to Pfizer, then feel free to step into January 21, 60 calls. And as long as price continues to hold that 50 level, this trade should work. All right. If you want a little bit more time, feel free to step out to the Marches. I'd probably still be at the same strike, which would be 60. But, a couple things to consider. Now, there's way more open interest here on these Januaries than there are on these Marches. But, either one gives you, I think, more than enough time for the trade to work out. So just something to consider with Pfizer, more or less for like a true swing trade, meaning like you get in and you just forget you have that joint. All right. So so that's definitely one to think about. I don't know how many times I've called this particular chart and we've made money off of it, but hopefully the party continues. Now, I will say this, after yesterday's candle, I am expecting for this one to give us at least 2 days of rest, because more or less that's been the pattern that is kind of shown before, where it has a very nice up move and then it rests for a couple of days, nice up move, rest for 3 days, nice up move, rest for 2 days before moving, right? So now we've had another nice up move. I'm expecting another rest for at least 2 days, okay? Maybe 3 days. So just kind of keep that in mind. But really the line in the sand continues to be 50, and we want to see price continue to hold that, all right? But definitely Pfizer, showing some 20-year strength here, all right? All right, Planeteer. We talked about this one yesterday briefly. Also, the market is going to open up in about 4 minutes. So if you guys want me to take a look at any other charts or anything like that, go ahead and start sending them out to the chat so I can start to cover those. But with Planeteer, it looks like price is still hovering around this 2410 level. And so I just want to continue to see it hold or price to stay near that level for us to potentially get back above 2542. Then if we can get above 2542, I'm looking for 27. And then above 27, I'm looking for 37. So I still have pretty decent level of confidence in this trade so far. But what I don't want to see is price break below the low of this candle right here at 2360. So as long as we stay above 2360, I'm in. If we get below that, then I'm out. All right, just that simple. All right, but Planeteer still holding those contracts from about 3-4 days ago, sometime last week. All right, we briefly talked about PayPal yesterday, and what I was seeing, which should have been clear to everybody, was that price was holding the lower Bollinger Band, as you can see, and we had closed above this key level here at 277.50. And so there was the potential for us to go ahead and head up towards this upper band here around 300. And so we looked at the contracts and they were looking pretty cheap. At this point, I will come back to this chart at the end of the day. And if we can hold like somewhat this 271, 272-ish area, and I may actually hop into calls on this one early and step into some September 17, like 300 or 295 calls here. All right, so I'm really feeling like this one is trying to bottom out. You got a left bottom over here and potentially a right bottom forming, in the process of forming. So we could have a double bottom trying to set in here for PayPal. That would give us a move that we could ride on up to around 295 or 300. And with September 17, we'd have more than enough time for that to kind of work out. All right, you see we got 20 points priced into the market. 290s or 200, 300s are, a dollar now. I think they were $1.46 yesterday. So, definitely some value that we're starting to get in these contracts. All right. But that's what I'll be looking at for PayPal with the expectation that that should hit pretty quick. Like I honestly, in my soul, I believe that's 1,000%er. I just want to time it right. All right. This morning, SPY has kind of, Jerome, as far as that Neo put, that's kind of a personal decision, boss. I would say if price can hold 38.30 this morning, so maybe give it 10 minutes to 30 minutes to see if price can stay above 38.30. And if it does, then maybe go ahead and cut those Neo puts. If that 38.30 level fails, then, give yourself a little bit more time and a little bit more patience. All right. But that 38.30 level is going to be the one to watch for Neo. All right. Which we're at right now. So as long as we can kind of stay below 38.30, then I'm good to, kind of hold our puts. But if we stay above it, then I'm be a little bit more cautious and I'm gonna probably cut that. All right. SPY with the gap down this morning. Price was pretty flat, maybe about an hour ago. So the fact that we've kind of pushed down since then, continues my thought process was that we may go ahead and head all the way down towards the lower band today. We'll see what happens. All right. I'm no longer in my my SPY puts anymore. I cut those because they expired today on August the 18th. But just kind of keep in mind that, still looking for SPY to drop a little bit more today. So not hopping into calls or anything quite yet. All right. J. Roy, I'll go over Tesla for you right now. All right. So Tesla was on the pre-market scanner. So of all the names that I saw, this one kind of had a lot of heat. I'm not quite sure what to do with it just yet here. We may be getting that bounce off of the lower Bollinger Band, but all the news with Tesla has pretty much been bearish though, bro. So it's really kind of tough to be like, I'm going to step into calls right here. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm going to pass on Tesla this morning because I really like for my setups to just kind of tap me on the shoulder and just be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, I'd be more willing to kind of come back to this chart and maybe see if there isn't a move that's clear. Now, right now, we could be trying to carve out a bottom by pushing over the high of this candle right here. And I could totally see, you know, there's the potential for maybe an up day. Maybe we can move up towards this like 685 level or the close of this candle right here. So that's a possibility, but you know, that's really only like 10 points. So, you know, for Tesla, that's not really a big move at all. So I'll probably just pass on this one right now, bro, and just see what happens. But it is intriguing that this was on the pre-market scanner though. So we'll just take a look at that. All right, now that the market is open, let's just briefly take a quick look at what's going on. Apple's continue to hold 150, so that continues to look strong. BYND is underneath that 118 level. I want to see that pretty much all day. And NEO is pushing a little bit. Let's take a look at it. I mean, this looks like it wants to just push up and then roll over, but it's just not showing us that quite yet. So it's a tough one, man, especially with it being a gap up this morning, because it had just been like gapping down, gap down, gap down, gap down, like 3 in a row. So maybe this is a little bit of profit taking from these folks here that got in around 43. And they're going ahead and they're just starting to, you know, take a little bit of their dollars out of the market. But I wouldn't be surprised if this one rolled back over. I just can't say if that's going to happen today or not, which is really what my preference would be. All right. Because normally around the end of the day on the 18th or by tomorrow at the latest, I think price will start to push back higher for the stock market. So just be careful as far as the puts goes. I'm not seeing anything this morning that kind of jumps out at me right away. And I think that's more or less been the story for the market this week, each day so far. So it's looking like another end of day, excuse me. It's looking like another end of day trading day. All right. Let me take a look at this NKLA real quick though. See if I want to hop into this. I might. Let me see what these 10s are going for now. Give me a sec. 18 cent here. Let me look at the contract itself. One sec. Okay, I know how I want to trade this. What's the high right here? Oh, 28. No, I don't want to pay that premium. I was going to say, you know, I'll just wait until this contract gets over the price of 28, and then that'll kind of let me know that, you know, the bottom is in, just kind of do the price action. But to be honest, I really don't want to pay 10 cents more for this. So let me go ahead and hold off on that for now. But let me just look around the market and just see if anything else is kind of clear. NEO at 30.82. So just remember to protect yourselves on that. If you're still in those puts, you know, just kind of remember to, you know, manage your trade appropriately. SPY, we're staying under 443. So that's still bearish for the moment. Let's take a look at T. I was looking at this one yesterday. And what I want to see is, let me zoom in a little. What I want to see is price close above 28.20. If we can get above 28.20, not today, but just, you know, whenever it happens, or just close above the upper band, I'm for sure going to go ahead and step into this and look for 29 calls for the next week. We tried it once, maybe once or, you know, 1 or 2 weeks ago, but the trade didn't work out. We were trading it the way that we would have like traded a bottom play where price closed above the lower band and we were looking for it to move up towards the upper band. Now it did get there. It just kind of went sideways and not vertical. So this time I'm looking for price to get above the upper band so we could trade and join that uptrend. All right. So let me just go ahead and wait until this one gives me the signal, but continuing to watch T to see if it can break above the upper band. I see Pfizer having a little bit of trouble and just pulling back to 50. So just continue to, keep what I said in mind, that this one may have a rest day for about 2 days first before it, really picks back up. And what else are we seeing? All right, nothing else there. Let's take a look through our scanners real quick and our other watch lists. All right, nothing on the unusual option scanner. Let's take a look at the second unusual option scanner real quick. We got nothing there. Let's see what's on the uptrend scanner. We got nothing there. Let's see what's bottoming. All right, Tilray trying to bottom. Let's take a look at that real quick. All right, Tilray came down to, really what's been a key level where we had this last low at around 1250, and then it bounced pretty significantly. So maybe this is putting in the last little leg of the bottom here for Tilray. So once we can kind of get back over 15, then this one will look pretty good again. But for right now, we kind of just got to be patient again here. All right, let's see what else we got. I wanted to look at my other watch list. One sec here. All right, Pfizer below 50, so that's hands off. Oh, you know what? A couple of the Bitcoin names. They're starting to push. All right, let's see. Well, not even push, but really they're just trying to find support. So there's nothing there going on here either. These names were looking really good last week. They were trading above the upper bands, and now they're back in between the Bollinger Bands. So we just kind of got to relax until these kind of catch fire again. But this may be nothing more than just a pullback before pushing higher. We just got to wait it out and just play it level to level for now. Let me take a look at, let me look at GS. My boy Kendrick was asking about banks yesterday. And I took a look, and to me, I thought the best looking one was Goldman at the time. It looks like Goldman was a pump fake as far as the potential setup. So the setup would have been price comes down to the upper band and then bounces. In this particular case, we came down to the upper band. We tried to hold it, and then it failed. So there's a no trade here. All right, so we would not be in this. Snow is about the only thing that's grooving right now. Let's look at this. I can see this pushing higher, but I'm not quite ready to call it yet. I can also see it rolling back over. So I can see that one going either way. So we'll keep our hands off the snow. This week continues to be an exercise in patience. All right. Remember that patience pays, and, we don't need to be in a trade or take a new trade every day. And that's just kind of been, I think, the lesson or the theme of this week so far is that if we just wait, then the move will walk up and tap us on the shoulder. And literally right now, this morning, still for the third day in a row, I'm not really seeing anything new for us to get into. So it'll be another end of day type of trading day for us for the most part, unless something kind of pops off during the middle. Before I shut it down, because I'm not seeing any trades for us to kind of take this morning, do you guys want me to take a look at anything else? I'll kind of stick around for a minute and just see if there's any chatter inside of the chat. All right, just let me know. I'm just waiting to hear back from the chat real quick just to see if anything pops up. Home Depot and Lowe's. Let's take a look at HD. And word is to short banks. Let me take a look at that, Marty. I don't think so. I don't think we want to short banks right now. Let me look through several banks though before I answer that question definitively. Let me look real quick. All right, Home Depot. Yo, shout out to my Home Depot guys, my Home Depot ninjas. Everybody who bought Home Depot calls recklessly yesterday. Shout out to y'all. All right, because that shit worked. Sweet. I would be looking at probably taking profits on that on this Home Depot. Now, if you don't want to just see profit, take profit, go ahead and move yourself down to the 10-minute time frame, and let's take a look at this real quick here. Man, this is a tough one. I could easily see price pushing up towards 325 or even around this 328 level. That's where the 155 is here on this time frame. Just be careful. You know what I mean? You got money in your hand right now. So, if you're in this contract and you got multiples, maybe start to peel one or two off. But, also kind of just be happy with whatever percentage points you're up on this one as well, I would say too. Just because it's in a weird spot, right? You got a gap down. This is more or less kind of like a relief bounce. And, you don't know how long this is going to last. Not only that, but 325 should be a firm level for price to kind of bump into, and it may not be able to get through that. So just keep in mind, you got to get through 325 first before you get to 328. And then also, this could easily roll over with, the market continuing to still be under pressure. So that's one to keep in mind. All right, let's go ahead and look at banks real quick. Let's, let's look at the market watch and see if banks are hot. 1 second here. Let me move this over to the New York Stock Exchange. Just 1 sec. All right. All right, let's pull this back. Let's take a look. All right, financials are definitely all red for sure. I'm just trying to see where the action is. We got a little bit of stuff in IT starting to heat up, so that's interesting. Wow, Lowe's is smoking hot today. Hold on. Let me look at that real quick too, and then we'll hop right back on over to banks. I just wanted to take a look at the market watch to see that. Let's go over to low real quick. What is this looking like? Wow, that's a very nice candle. You know what? I'd be interested in this at the end of the day. All right, if we can get a close above this upper band, I could see us potentially having one more upside day here with Lowe's. If you got this today or yesterday, man, kudos to you, because this is a stupid move. We closed at 182 and we're at 196 like in the first 15 minutes of the day. I mean, this was the one right here. For an overnighter, this was the one. All right, let's look at Bank of America first. As far as banks go, I can see this under pressure a little bit. Let me take a look at Citigroup. That one's been strong. Let's take a look at Morgan Stanley. That one's still trying to hold on for life. What's another bank? Let me think. Oh, Wells Fargo. Let me look at that. Marty, you could be right. You know, banks are definitely losing steam for sure. I'm just not sure how much further they're going to roll over though. You know what? This is a tough one. This is a tough one to call, because once we kind of in between the bands, I mean, you could say, all right, we're going to fall down towards the lower band for sure. That should be, you know, the natural target. So I could definitely see if you're just playing it like a topping play, like, okay, we ran up, we topped, now we're going to fall back down towards the lower band. So I could see that as a potential setup all across these. But I don't know. According to the Earnings Whisperer report, there's still a lot of room left to go with financials. So I think this could be a situation where, you know, maybe price does fall a bit, just kind of offering a discount, and then we shoot back up. So, you know, it's a tough one for me to call. I would hate to really kind of get in the habit of buying puts right now without seeing like another day or two of selling across the market. So I would say you know, if you wanted to enter into banks with puts, I would just say just proceed with caution or enter with your bank robber hat on, where it's like, okay, cool, I'm up, you know, let me protect profits or at least take some stuff off the table. But it would be hard for me to say go ahead and sell this because, you know, we're bullish. But I would just say, you know, consider that. Let me see. Okay, and then I'll take a look at the video you sent and I'll let you know in the chat for sure. Appreciate that. But yeah, I would say hold off for a little bit and let me watch the video that you sent, and then I'll elaborate after that. All right, guys, I'm not seeing anything else. Pfizer still flexing its muscles. Came right down to 50 and bounced 40 cents, which is a pretty healthy move for Pfizer. So, you know, continue to keep your eye on that name. And outside of that, everything else is really just continuing to stay sideways. Apple's very sideways, trying to hold 150. AMD is getting closer to breaking down. So remember, if we break below 105.74 on AMD, we'll take a look at 103 puts or 100 puts. So continue to keep that trade in mind. And outside of that, let me look back at Neo. Neo did not hold that 38.30 level. So hopefully you're still holding these for puts. And if we get back above 38.30, then I'd be looking to probably exit that. But for the most part, everything is still looking like it's, you know, heavily under pressure with the exception of Apple and Pfizer. And outside of that, it's hard to touch anything else around here today. Let me take one last look at the scanners before I shut it down, and then I think that'll be it for this morning, guys. All right, let me look here real quick. Let me go back to the uptrend scanner and the bottom scanner. Let me flip over to the downtrend scanner too. There's that lows up there. I see that. One sec here. All right, let's look at the downtrend scanner real quick. Not a whole lot. All right. So even move to the downsides, they're starting to kind of cool off a bit. Microsoft, interesting. Let's look at this. Wow. I did not expect Microsoft to look like this at all. Interesting. We got to keep our eye on that. All right, we got to keep our eye on that. All right, AMD, BAC, T, Citigroup. So a couple of the banks are on the downtrend. 1 hour scanner, Marty. All right, I think that's it. I think that's it for the morning. Wow, Pfizer 5072. Look at this. All right, so real quick before I shut it down, yesterday we talked about if we were to get back into Pfizer, then we would need for price to get above yesterday's close, which we have. So we might have another update today. That boy Sam Mickens might have been right. You know, we looks like we're going to head towards 51. All right, so Pfizer continues to be incredible hawk. Just be cautious with this one again because it does like to move strong and then take a cool off period for 2 to 3 days. And after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of up, we may be getting to that point to where this one is probably trying to cool off. So just keep that in mind. All right, guys. Any more questions from anybody else before we shut it down? Last chance. All right. We'll definitely be back live this afternoon. So looking forward to really picking through the market very closely then. And I think we'll start to buy calls today, end of day, at the latest in the morning. But I will for sure be stepping to the market and looking to step into some opportunities at the end of the day today. So all money in, patience pays. You guys let me know if you got any questions. Beyond check-in for sure. I'll check in for you. Sam Hunter. You know what Beyond is looking like. What was yesterday's low? Yesterday's low was 116.38. I want us to get below that today. It looks like we broke it once already. Let's stay below that. Let's stay below 116.38. And then I'm loving beyond for that move to the downside. Hopefully it rewards us today, bro. We've been patient. Hopefully it gives us that 8-point move we're looking for. And that would be lovely. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining this morning. And if you got any questions, hit me up in the chat. And I look forward to seeing you guys this afternoon.